Welcome to another episode of Lawn and Order. I am David. This is my co-host,
Andrew.
And today we have a very special guest, the one, the only,
Matt Lawrence.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello. Today we're going to really just kind of get to talk to Matt just about what's going on out in the field, what he's seen out there as one of our most veteran lawn technicians, and just get to know a little bit more about you, Matt. We're just really happy to have you on here. You're our first guest.
Nice.
We're going to see how it goes.
Right
I don't
on.
think we would have picked a better guest. So, but honestly, I'd just like to start. If you could just tell us a little bit about you and your journey leading up to getting to Oasis, anything and everything. We're here for it.
Okay. Well, I started working in the lawn care industry 2 years before I joined Oasis. This will be my 11th year here. I worked at Weedman, doing pretty much similar stuff, lawn treatments, fertilization with granular fertilizer. It's a little bit more push spreading and hose reeling for the lawn technician. So using the machines at Oasis was a welcome reprieve.
Is that why your calves are as nice as they are?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
cool.
that did help my sizable calves. But I started doing aerations and overseedings, and the next spring got trained in the lawn fertilization, regular applications, and have just been plugging away ever since then. So it's been pretty cool watching the company grow in our new sweet facility. Well, it's 5 years?
It's still new in my heart.
Yeah, but it's crazy coming from where we did and knowing that when I started we had 5,500 customers and now we have 23,000, so more than quadrupled our customer base. And
insane?
Pretty awesome that I'd say the majority of our customers in the past have come from the direct results of lawn treatments and people noticing them. So it's very cool to actually work for a company that you don't have to, kind of fib about the results. You can just, people see it and then they sign up, and then you go from one house on a street to 5. It's just pretty awesome.
Yeah, and shoot, I know you're in one of our oldest neighborhoods. We've been there Oasis has been a company we're going on 30 years now. So if you combined all of our time together, we might kind of get close to it, but not quite there. But you were talking about going from one house to 5, and I agree it's a direct result of the work that you're doing and a compounding interest from the work that all of us have done, but you're on the front lines. Even the neighborhood that I'm thinking of, what do you think is the most houses that you have on a street?
I think I got Neighborhood Monday or I think Ridgewood, I want to say is like 20 to 40 houses on a street. And
That's insane.
Then you got like side streets with 10 to 15. So you'd only have to move your van a couple times and knock out all those yards. And plus the way that our vans are situated, that you can just roll up to the side of it, open the door, and top off your fertilizer. Yeah, it's just very cool to like go and do like 5 houses in a row. And then next time you come in the neighborhood, you're doing the guy across the street as well.
Because you're doing such a good job.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's also very cool to watch the yard transform, especially a newer customer where their yard is like 90% weeds, and then throughout the year you clean up a bunch of it, and they're usually pretty grateful.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of my favorite things. Like when I was a lawn technician, working with that first-time customer and getting to really see that transformation, but even just connecting with them because they've called in, they've talked with the office, but as a technician, you're the face of the company. So when they think of Oasis, your customers think of you. What do you think? We talked about, or you mentioned, we went from the old building to we have this awesome facility, which again, is still new to me. But what do you think was one of like the biggest differences, positive, negative, but like the biggest change for you going from old shop to this shop?
Oh, it's night and day. Like the old shop was a bunch of garages. We had vans double parked outside. There was theft risk. We did have a couple instances where I think people broke into the van and I think they tried to sell a blower, but forgot to take off the stickers with our information on it. So it was a pretty easy catch. Just having the space to park all the vans inside it may sound like a oh, is that really cool? But yes, when you have to walk and when you leave something inside the van, like I tend to do, and then you have to walk back into the office, grab your key, unlock the van, then walk back through, go back to your parking spot. Now you can just leave it inside. And then also the winter work, getting to work inside is a giant boost. There were times that we were working in like 20-degree weather, and we have a propane heater, and sometimes we would have to put tires on a forklift over the heater to warm them up so that we could put them on rims.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. It took a little while to get used to the drive. It's about an extra 5 minutes. It's a lot more centrally located, easier to access restaurants, especially when you're going for lunch break. So we used to just have that market down the road. You're also sharing with other companies, and sometimes some of those people were a little
Less than favorable?
Inconsiderate.
yeah, that's a good way to phrase it. That's a good way to phrase it. So yeah, I've enjoyed it, and it's just, again, a real cool marker of the growth of the company, because not only do we have this one, we opened that facility in Dayton. It's just nuts how much we've grown. Yeah, I'm just enjoying it.
Now, you talked about leaving stuff in your van and having to go back and get it out. Apart from the equipment that you have here to do the job, what are the things that you are keeping in there consistently for yourself from your day-to-day? What's the stuff that you're bringing with you to keep in your van?
Oh, I usually bring a cooler. I've got water. We have our hydration packets, so try to stay hydrated. A few energy drinks, gloves. I always have gloves because all the metal pieces, I've nicked my hands so many times. Plus keeping the fertilizer off my hands as much as possible. Sunglasses, now that I wear contacts, have been a must. I did have transition lenses last year for the first time, and that was like, why did I wait so long? But now I went a step further and got contacts. And then headphones to jam out or listen to podcasts like this one.
Like and subscribe. I like that. I like the I like the plug on that one. And also kind of wrapping back over to customers, you've seen literally us quadruple the customer count in our time, which all of us have been, up close and personal to. Do you have a specific customer story that sticks out to you, like an interaction that you had or somebody that you always enjoyed going back to?
I don't really have one that would say stick out, but I would say that building a relationship with the customer is very crucial. Mm-hmm. And I try to build that on every yard I'm at. So I like gaining their trust, not by my words, but my actions. Mm-hmm. And then also being able to back up what I did tell them. And sometimes you have to tell them stuff that they're not going to like to hear, which is you have a grass or something that we can't do. Even something as simple as like not treating the landscape beds. Still get pushback from that, but when you explain it to them that you could get a fine or lose your license, they kind of are like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. Yeah. And then you can point them in a direction of a company that focuses on that, and then just kind of talking about how quality our products are, and then again showing them the results.
Yeah. Now, you are one of the more prolific trainers of new employees with the company, getting people established and ready to go do the job on their own. Do you have any lessons that you try to impart to our newest team members when you get to actually show them the rope?
I think the biggest thing is because a lot of these guys are new to the industry in general or haven't used the equipment, there's a lot of doubts that come with that when you're learning something new. So I try to hammer the fact that you are going to mess up. Don't try to be as quick as me, but just try to get your system down and be able to lean on their fellow teammates, because we do have our group threads that people will share pictures. Oh, I'm not sure with that. And being even able to tell the customer that I don't know that answer, but I will find out.
Right.
People will respect that so much more than you trying to tell them something and them finding out that was completely wrong. He's talking out of his behind. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then also just, it's really cool once they figure out how to do the job, and then you're like, I'm watch them for a day, and then when you're like, all right, I'm not going to watch you, I'm going to check your results. Mm-hmm. And it's cool to watch them build confidence once they get past the training phase. Mm-hmm. And then I mean, Charles is a good example of is this his second year?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
when I trained
third, actually,
him,
coming up.
and then to see him grow to now he's in the tree team, and he's one of the leaders for the tree team. So it's just cool watching a lot of people grow and being a part of that to help them get their foot in the door and on the lawns is pretty cool.
Yeah. Speaking of growth, I just want to compliment you where I've seen a lot of growth within you, where, like Andrew said, you are one of our prolific leaders when it comes to training new technicians, and that's a huge responsibility, and you've taken to that with that and you've ran with it. And there are a lot of technicians who, well, myself included, if you remember, you trained me.
Yes.
And it seems like forever ago, but there's still things that like come to mind when I think of my first few days, first few weeks at Oasis, and you're a big part of that. But you've been able to work with a lot of newer technicians, a lot of the people that we currently have here. And it's not like when you train somebody and they've graduated our program, and are now they're a technician on their own. It's not like you stop training. You're still there. You're still a sounding board. And I, for one, appreciate that. Oasis as a whole appreciates that. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to say thank you for that. Now,
Well, thank you.
yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any embarrassing stories about training, David?
I mean, not particularly with David, but my behavior sometimes. I've worked really hard on, let's say, anger management.
You were boisterous,
Yes.
and you stand firm in your opinions, and I appreciate that about you. So, and that's all that it was. That's all that it was. And
It was a minor disagreement with somebody over the phone, but
fortunately, it was not me.
Yeah.
I promise I tried to do everything that whoever is in
definitely
charge
not
of me. It's like, whatever you say, I will help you out with that. So I do remember, because I was brand new to the Cincinnati area, and I started around the same time as you did, just a year later in aerations. We were using equipment that did a great job, but needed a lot of maintenance and would often break belts. And I remember we actually weren't too far from where we are now. We were just off of, or just outside of Harper's Point, and we had broke a belt, and we were waiting for Hess, our fleet manager, to come save us. And Hess and Matt are working on the machine, and I don't know why, just out of nowhere, I was like, hey, do you guys know where to get good tacos around here? I just felt like I needed to break the tension because we were not being productive in the sense of the machine's down, and I'm waiting on them. I can't do anything. And I just remember Hess and Matt kind of giving me a look of, what is this guy talking about? Tacos? And Matt's like, well, Dewey's Pizza has a taco pizza this time of year. It's really good.
It
And
is.
it's like, it is good. So I was like, okay, well, they think I'm dumb, but I guess I'll go try a taco pizza from Dewey's. So we got the machine up and running. No thanks to me, thanks to you guys, but we got it up and running, started aerating, and almost 10 years later, here we are having a podcast talking about silly stuff that happened on the lawn. What do you do to keep yourself motivated throughout the day? You said you're going to be going to a street where you have 40-something, 50-something stops. That's got to be pretty exhausting. How do you stay motivated on a day like that? Because it's not like it's every day, but it's not abnormal for you to be very productive. You're one of our most productive guys.
not to be too blunt, but you know, the way that me being paid as a technician is driven by the amount of revenue I generate throughout the day. So a big day like that is, you know, I'm looking to not only help myself, help the customers and the company by doing as much as I can in a day. Just knowing that you're gonna have to do them eventually. And I try to be as efficient as possible. So sometimes it'll be like
zone, I guess, is kind of where I was going.
I don't know, kind of get in the flow state, a good playlist, just kind of lock in, always having a plan, because I was in the military and you always want to have a good plan.
If I showed up to you where you're working on Monday, I have a feeling I'm going to hear you singing whatever is playing in your headphones. What is going to be playing?
Recently, I've been getting back into Arctic Monkeys.
Okay.
They're my favorite band. You know, you go in lulls though, you'll stop listening to something for whatever reason. So, say Arctic Monkeys, Black Keys, There's a new song I like by Somber.
Okay.
He's a newer artist who I think it's called. Here, I can just actually pull up my Spotify.
While he's looking it up, Andrew, what's your go-to listening pleasure?
Well, as a technician, I found myself listening to audiobooks a lot because one of my efficiencies was not being on my phone. That was like I tried to keep that away as much as possible. So I would turn on audiobooks and I would go a week without changing what I was listening to. But if I'm really needing a push, I'm a big metal guy. So anything fast and loud, a lot of Iron Maiden, stuff like that. That does it for me when I'm out.
You like to run to the hills?
I do.
Nice. What a trooper.
Disagree with the metal.
For me, it was always something that I could belt out to and just let loose because most of the time the machine was going. So Fits in the Tantrums would pop up a lot on my playlist. I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan, but I just hit play and whatever was going. But Fool by Fits in the Tantrums, if you've never listened to that, I would highly recommend it. And
I liked him.
You can just imagine somebody probably hearing me a few houses down, like, what the heck is going on?
There was one day where I actually had an older woman who was, I was treating her house, and she was watching me through the windows, and I didn't know it, and I was having a really good day. The weather was nice. I was singing, dancing on the machine, and she's like, "You seem like you really like your job. I've never seen somebody have so much fun." And I was like, "Honestly, yeah, I'm having a great day. It's 72 degrees and sunny. Like, come on."
Beautiful weather, beautiful music. It makes for a great time.
Exactly.
Yeah. But what about podcasts? What do you like to listen to?
One that's been really helping me out is Modern Wisdom. Chris Williamson's podcast. I think it was number 8 in the world last year, and it's all about just being a better person, mentally, physically, emotional knowledge. They have on great guests and some very, very insightful information. And pardon my take for comedy and sports. Trigonometry I've been listening to recently for like news and current events. They do a very good, I feel, middle of the road job where there's not really an agenda. They're just trying to dissect an argument. Those are pretty much the top 3 that I do.
Yeah.
And then macrodosing, which is one of the guys from Pardon My Take, and Arian Foster, who used to play running back in the NFL.
Texans?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's
and it's pretty funny. They go a little out there sometimes with like aliens and conspiracy stuff, but it's usually in good fun.
Right.
It's no like tinfoil hat people, and I'm sure you've seen clips online.
What is the craziest conspiracy theory that maybe you agree with or maybe you don't agree with, but just in general you're like, this is a crazy one. This is a good conspiracy theory.
That aliens created humanity.
Okay.
By genetic manipulating chimpanzees.
Interesting.
Yeah, that one's interesting.
Andrew?
Birds aren't real. Birds are not real.
They're all government spy drones.
I love natural history. I love learning about all of that stuff. But if birds are not real. You've never seen a baby pigeon. I guarantee it. That's my favorite one.
Cool. Those are some good ones. I like that. I like that a lot.
What about you? Do you have one?
Crazy conspiracy theory. There's some that kind of I think are crazy and they make me mad, but for a good one that like is just okay, that there's lizard people that dig underneath humanity and live in tunnels. To me, and one of them I think was that like Queen Elizabeth was one of these lizard people. To me, that's crazy. I won't tell you if I agree or disagree with that, but it is crazy.
If there's a conspiracy theory, there's somebody that's made a video about it.
That's a good point.
It's pretty ridiculous
I'm gonna
anymore.
have to be doing some research.
But what's crazy is like you'll watch one, and then all of a sudden now like 5 of them will pop up on your feed. So it's like you got to watch. I've been trying to cultivate more comedians and chefs to kind of combat that.
It's kind of like you're speaking it into existence. You want to speak a good day into existence, or good fortune, or good. Yeah, birds are real. You want to speak, some good quality videos into your feed. I get it. So that's awesome.
Outside of work, what do you spend your time doing mostly?
Most of the time, if it's nice out, I will be trying to play golf. Recently, I did start playing pool again. I used to play a lot when I was younger, and then just life got in the way. I stopped playing, but I've been going around there. And another thing that's actually, what's funny that spurned this is I started watching Snooker highlights. And
Interesting.
I don't know if you're familiar with Snooker.
Just from Ted Lasso, and he mentioned, what's that game you guys like to play? It sounds like cookies. Snooker? That's all I know about that.
It's like, I think 10 by 13 table with still 6 pockets. Then you have you got a yellow, green, and brown ball at the top line. You have a pink ball, a blue ball, and a black ball. Each one of those are worth, it goes from 2 to 7 points. So like yellow's 2, then 34, pink's 5, blue is 6, black is 7. There's 15 red balls, and then the goal is to make one of the red balls and then one of the colored balls. And then that's how you accumulate so many points. So like the perfect score, I think, is 147, and there's this guy named Ronnie O'Sullivan who has been playing professionally since he was like 14, and he's got all these crazy highlights. I had no idea how big snooker was, but it's huge in England. And it's just awesome to watch the cue control that they have. Like if you think somebody running a table at a bar is cool, you should see some of these shots these guys make. And the reason they call it snooker is that's if you can't make a ball, you try to hide it behind another ball to make it the other person foul. Okay. So that's where the snooker comes in.
Interesting.
Well, we have a pool table. We could give it a shot.
Yeah. I do frequent the pool table.
Yes, and you throw a mean dart. You should not sell yourself short on that too.
I've kind of gotten away from darts, but I'll still, when asked, I'll play, and usually about 2 marks around. So.
It's actually just a personal question for me. What's the lowest you ever shot over 18 holes in golf?
I actually did that this year. It was 85.
Ooh, PR.
It was my first round of the year, actually. I wish I could tell you I knew how to do it, because I started my golf league a couple weeks ago, and it hasn't gone too well.
Where do you like to play at?
My league's at Aston Oaks, but I actually enjoy playing this course called the Fernbank. What's cool about it is that 4 of the 9 fairways intersect.
I have seen that course. I saw a map of it, and I am petrified of playing out there because somebody hit me once already this year.
But if you're playing like on a busier time, yes, that can happen. Yeah. But usually you go there like 8 o'clock on a Saturday or Sunday, you'll be the only one there. It's like $14 if you want to walk, 21, 22 if you want to ride.
Oh, that's not bad.
And then you can play 9 holes in like an hour and a half.
Very nice.
And usually I'll play like 2 balls, like kind of practice. It's a good practice course because you can only use driver on 2 holes.
Is that part of the great parks courses?
It's like independently owned one. But I do, Newman is another one that's over on the west side.
That one me and my in-laws play occasionally, and it's pretty laid back.
Yeah, and the greens are super fast though. They're like glass every time.
Really?
Yeah, it's like you do not want to be putting downhill because you can't gauge the speed and it will fly off.
Back to kind of the work realm, I have a question that I want to get from all of our guests. I've just decided right now. What is your favorite plant? You've been in the green industry for a long time. What's your favorite one?
Weeping willow tree.
Really?
I really think I just think that they're coolest trees, and they're always pretty beautiful. They're a little annoying to treat around, but
you don't say.
They are cool plants. I would say willow tree.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll also ask a question of every single guest, and it's a little inside of what we do during our icebreakers for any new hires that might be seeing this or come aboard. What is your spirit animal?
A spirit animal. Oh man. If I had to say a spirit animal, probably like a tiger.
Tiger?
Yeah.
I think that's a good choice.
They're big and powerful. They're kind of loners, which I can be at times, but I don't know. Tigers are cool.
Are tigers orange with black stripes or black with orange stripes?
I don't know, but their skin is striped. If you shave them,
It's the same pattern, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they're orange. Like we can see them pretty easily because they're orange, but they're prey animals like the gazelles and like deer that they hunt can't actually see that orange color on the color spectrum through their eyes, so they actually look green to their prey animals. So that is a great camouflage for them. It just looks weird to us.
I did not know that. Learn something new every day. I'm blown away. You're so smart.
Other than that, I mean, it seems like we've gotten to know you a little bit, and we're glad to have you on. We'll see you around constantly. Any closing thoughts? Anything for us?
I enjoy what we're starting here with this podcast. So I would say I wish you continued success, and I think that you'll be able to get more. I think it's a good way to add on to our bio videos, to kind of bring technicians in here or salespeople or office people to kind of pick their brain on, why they like being here, why they work here, and what they think.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really happy to have had you today. Thank you for being our first guest. Did we want to ask a little bit, what are you seeing out in the field? Anything crazy right now? Most of the time we're talking about rainfall, lack of it, too much of it, weather. It's mostly what we talk about is water, moisture content. But is anything crazy that you're seeing or that you might tell a homeowner today? Something that's going on that they can do to help their lawn?
Crazy enough was watering. I've already started seeing drought stress, which is insane for April. The most I've ever had to spray to start the year since I've been here.
Lots of weeds.
Yes. So everything's super active and popping up sooner than usual. Violets and ground ivy are pretty flowery right now. Speedwells come on full force. Clover and dandelions, obviously, you've seen those.
Yeah.
But we're kind of transitioning out of the winter annuals, like your henbits, your dead nettles, lesser celandine starting to go away, per se, until it comes back with a vengeance.
I saw my first black medic plant on the hillside, and it must have been there for a while because I saw a flower on it. That's the only reason I noticed it was the flower. So first time I'm observing it. I don't know if you've seen a whole bunch of it, but
I've seen it here or there. I would like to think most of my yards are pretty well manicured, so I don't really see too many.
I've seen them. They look
But
good.
on the newer sales, black medic's coming out, even some thistles.
Yeah.
Prickly lettuce.
Well, Matt, thank you again. You do a great job, everything that you do, and we really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come hang out with us, have a few laughs, and tell a few stories, and get us a little bit of insight about what it's like to be Matt Lawrence. Any closing thoughts, Andrew?
Sure. No, honestly, thanks for coming on. We're always looking for questions and a little bit of interaction from people. So if you have anything for us, drop a comment or shoot us a text, email, anything on our social medias. We are good to go. Thank you, Matt. I think that...
Yeah, like and subscribe. Link down below.
Gotta do the one thing that I always do whenever we end something.
I can't believe I almost forgot.
So first I want to say thank you for having me, and go Oasis!